Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Gannon Barstool Podcast. I'm your host, Andy Crigliano, and welcome to Talkin with Tony. My name's Tony, or Anthony, or Criggs, and I'll just be having different guests on every now and then, and we'll talk about some shit, and we'll talk about campus stuff and sports stuff. I'm a big football guy. We'll be talking a lot about football. I'm going to try and talk about Gannon athletics too, and hopefully, just have fun. If you want to tune in sometime, feel free to. And as I said, welcome to the podcast, and here we go, I guess. If you ever want to be a guest or talk about something, hit me up. My Instagram is at I am Anthony Crigliano, and my Twitter is at Anthony_Craigs. And let's head into our first segment. Let's talk about the Gannon food overhaul this year. The calf, docks, shit is great. They made so many improvements. That smoothie bar down in the basement of the calf fucking slaps. You can make that shit right up, and it's fucking delicious if you know how to make it right. Then you got the kids that put ice cream in there. Shit is bomb. And I mean, if you didn't know by now, I'm a gluten-free guy. I have celiac disease. They made so many new gluten-free options and vegan options and all that bullshit. The calf last year, it's kind of overrated in my opinion. And I feel like the calf always smells like shit. Like, if you went to the calf tonight, I'm going to smell that on you. Because it smells like shit. It really does. It smells nasty. But on the other hand, it's good food, so I can see why people are willing to take that risk. Myself included. I gotta hand it to Gannon on their hiring, though, especially for the food programs, because you got people like Shantae and Denise and Darrell. All those people are fucking awesome. Like, how great is it to be told every day to have a blessed day? Like, that's just something that I've never seen anywhere else at any other campus, and probably never will. So, calf big overhaul. The Cove put in that something that's not a pizza bar every day. I guess for the first couple weeks it was a taco bar, and that shit slapped. The taco bar was bomb as fuck. And then they put in this fucking shrimp stir fry. I don't even know what the fuck it is. It's ass. It's just vegetables and fucking half-cooked chicken. It's ass. I do not recommend it. Don't get that from the Cove this week. If you want to get like a wrap or a sandwich or something, by all means, go for that. But if you get something from that, fucking whatever the fuck it is bar, I don't even know what to call it. It's shit. It is terrible. Do not recommend. Doc's, on the other hand. Doc's still making banger sandwiches. I'll go to Doc's every day if I could, but the line is so fucking long. That's one of the things that gets on my nerves. I'll pull up to Doc's just wanting a sandwich, and there will be 30 people in line, and I'm just like, what the fuck am I supposed to do now? Just wait for all these people to go through? And I'm just like, nah, I'll just grab the Cove. But I can't grab the Cove this week because they got that shitty stir-fry bar. But usually I would, if it was that taco stuff. But yeah, gotta hand it to Gannon, though. Really making that food so much better than it was last year. Hopefully they keep making improvements and people are really happy with the system, because everyone I've talked to has been pretty happy with it. And coming back on campus and seeing all of that was definitely nice. So we're about 2 weeks into classes now. I know me personally, shit's actually going great. Besides organic chem, I don't care how smart you are, that shit sucks. I've got a good teacher, but OChem fucking blows. It is a struggle. It is a struggle for sure. But at the same time, so far so good. I hope everyone's doing well in their classes. Make sure you're evening out the partying with some studying and whatnot. Keep that GPA up. After all, that is why the university says we're here. Obviously, Nash Library, big key to success. Just, study with some people, do some shit. Actually, I shouldn't be telling you to study. You guys are in fucking college. You guys are going to do whatever the fuck you want. I'm just giving you some tips and tricks. Now we're going to roll into our Gannon sports news. Our Gannon's women's soccer team started their season after finishing 9-6-2 overall last year and missing the postseason for the first time in 8 seasons. Personally, I don't think that's going to be happening this year. I think we got a very strong team, and they showed it yesterday against Notre Dame. The game started out 0-0 until the 46th minute when junior and team MVP last year Megan McCartney hit a shot from about 35 yards out to give the Gannon girls a 1-0 lead. Sophomore goaltender Kennedy Solomosi started her first game of the season, finishing with a clean sheet and 2 crucial saves that helped the women on their way to victory. Senior defenseman Bridget Casey made a huge stop late in the game on a wide-open shot, preserving the win as she headed the ball away. It was a strong start for them as we saw them cruise to a 1-0 lead, and they'll return to Erie for their home opener Wednesday, hosting Pitt Johnstown in the first game of PSAC play. Hopefully they can continue their winning streak and get the season off on a really good start. Our Gannon men's football team started their season yesterday. After an abysmal 2-9 record this year, they're hoping for a lot better, and they started that off with a convincing victory against Southern Connecticut. This was a very defensive game, with the first half being completely scoreless, but that all changed when Gannon broke through with 14 points in the third quarter. This was led by redshirt sophomore quarterback Jimmy Keefe, and he threw for 130 yards and 2 touchdowns, most of which come in the third quarter. His favorite receiver was Joey Cox, who caught 8 passes for 80 yards. And I gotta say, favorite sorority girl pairing, Keefe and Cox, baby, did fantastic against Southern Connecticut. I'm excited to see what they do next week. On the defensive side of the ball, sophomore Keith Thompson caught 2 interceptions, which proved to be immensely valuable to the Gannon defense. The Gannon defense gave up 322 yards, but they only gave up 7 points, so it all worked out in the end for Gannon, working with a 14-7 victory over Southern Connecticut. Sophomore running back Melvin Blanks also proved to be pretty important, picking up 56 yards on the ground and 35 through the air. Gannon's next game is their home opener against defending PSAC champion Westchester. This is going to be a tough game for the Gannon football team, and I hope the team is ready for it, and we'll see how they do next week. Now we're going to start our NFL segments. Now let's talk about the Buffalo Bills. Last season was a little bit rough for Josh Allen and company, finishing 6-10 in a season in which Josh went 5-6 as a starter, and the Bills also had the debacle of Nate Peterman and Derek Anderson starting professional football games. Hopefully that won't be happening this year, and Josh Allen can stay healthy. But I'm really excited about this team and the way they look. We started the offseason by releasing tight end Charles Clay. I don't really know what's going to happen with the tight end position in Buffalo. We have a couple rookies, a few young guys. We'll see if Allen will want to throw to them. And the running back situation totally is crazy. The addition of TJ Yeldon to the backfield and Frank Gore, I thought were really good pickups. But then we went and drafted Devin Singletary, who looks like he's going to be really, really good. But we also released Sean McCoy the other day, and he's now with the Kansas City Chiefs. I don't know how losing a veteran presence like McCoy will affect the locker room, and I guess that'll be something that we'll need to see out. And I really hope Frank Gore and Singletary can fill his backfield roles, as well as getting TJ in there every now and then to catch some third down passes. The biggest story for the Bills, I think, the offseason was in the receiver room. The signings of Cole Beasley and John Brown bolstered a room with no real receivers besides Zay Jones and breakout star Robert Foster, who actually came out of nowhere, undrafted from the University of Alabama, and was one of Josh Allen's favorite targets last season. Now, the offensive line was so bad that Josh was basically running around the pockets and set crazy rushing records. A quarterback should not lead the team in rushing yards, but hopefully with the new offensive line additions and as well as the new receivers, Josh will be able to throw more consistently and more often. Taking a look at the defensive side of the ball, the Bills actually had the number 2 ranked defense in yards allowed, which is kind of good if you think about it, but then you realize that this was because the Bills were punting from inside of their own 30-yard line way too many times last season. Hopefully that's something we won't see. That being said, the Bills' defense is stacked with studs. Tre'Davious White at the cornerback position, alongside with second-year cornerback Levi Wallace, both amazing at locking up wide receivers. I'm really excited to see them play this year. Our linebacking core is solid like it's always been. Matt Milano, Lorenzo Alexander, and then second-year starter, the 21-year-old Tremaine Edmonds, looking to anchor the Bills' linebacking core for the second year now. And the defensive line has the addition of 9th overall pick phenom from Houston, Ed Oliver, who looks like a monster. I'm so fucking excited to see this guy tear people the fuck up. It's going to be amazing. So between the new wide receivers and the offensive line that the Bills had assembled, as well as new defensive pickups in the draft, I really think the Bills have something special going this year, and I think they're a real dark horse team. Now, I'm not saying we're dethroning the Patriots or winning the Super Bowl or anything like that, but, we could probably make a wild card spot, and I'd be really interested to see that. Now, let's take a look at the Week 1 matchup for the Bills versus the New York Jets. When the Jets played the Bills twice last year, the first time ended with the Bills dominating when Matt Barkley came out of nowhere, literally signed off the streets, and put up 41 points on the Jets, and they could only muster 10. Now, this is Josh Allen and Sam Darnold's second time facing off. The first time they faced off last year ended up with the Jets coming out on top, 27-23. Josh threw for 206 yards and 2 interceptions, which ended up pretty costly. I personally love this rivalry that is brewing. We have 2 young quarterbacks in the AFC East that could be battling it out for years to come, especially once Tom Brady retires, which I pray to God will be soon. Like, that old fuck needs to get the fuck out of the field, and go back to making out with his kids. Like, I don't know why he's still playing the game of football. He's so bad. Like, I don't know how people consider him the GOAT. That's a whole nother discussion for a whole nother time. Back to the topic at hand. Allen, Darnold, round 2. I got to give the edge to the Bills. And I know I'm biased as fuck for saying that, but think about the Jets for a second. Their number 1 cornerback and number 1 receiver are both coming back from injuries. And who the fuck knows how Le'Veon Bell is going to play? Like, he hasn't played football in over a year, and people expect him to just be what he was. That's not happening, and I'll tell you why. The Pittsburgh Steelers' offensive line when Le'Veon Bell was running was incredible. One of the best in the league by far, and that's why the Steelers are so good, is because of their amazing offensive line. But the Jets, their offensive line is it's all right. I mean, they've got a couple guys that are decent, but the thing is, they're not Pittsburgh Steeler full all-pro offensive linemen. You're going up with an average line now, and I don't think Le'Veon will be able to produce the way he does, period. Now, on defense, the Jets have Jamal Adams, who's seriously a force at safety, but I think Allen's going to torch him because he was talking a lot of shit last year, and he still keeps talking shit. Guys like him and Jalen Ramsey just fucking piss me off. Like, shut the fuck up. You're not as good as you think you are. The only other notable Jets defensive player is probably rookie defensive lineman Quinnen Williams, Mr. Achoo, bless you, thank you, motherfucker, who's still wearing braces, looks like he's 16, and acts like he has CTE. So if you're asking me if I'm scared of this Jets defense, the answer would be a big fat fucking hell no. I think the Bills are going to crush them this game and come out of nowhere. I'm going with like a 28-10 score, and hopefully it comes out that way. It would be a great way to start the season 1-0 against a division rival, and would further cement Josh Allen as a better quarterback over Sam Darnold. Now, I don't want to talk about the Bills for too long, so I'm going to turn it over to our next segment now. All right, I'm here with Luigi Yates, Gannon wrestler and Pittsburgh Steelers fan. How you doing, Luigi?
I'm good. How about you?
I'm doing pretty well. I'm here to ask you a few questions about the Steelers, if you'd be interested in that.
Yeah, I'm down with that.
All right, so obviously, big offseason for the Steelers. All started with the Le'Veon drama for last year. Talk about going through that as a fan.
It was pretty annoying with Le'Veon because we really never knew if he was going to play. He held out the year prior, and we all knew he was going to come back. He said he was going to, but then the next offseason he gets tagged again. He's like, I'm not going to play the preseason again. And then he's going to sit out week 1, and then week 2, then week 3 comes around, and we're like, well, is the dude going to come back or not? And like, it was just really stressful, but it was good because the way the Steelers offense works, they have a history of good running backs. They're always good at producing good running backs. Jerome Bettis, Willie Parker, Rashard Mendenhall, Le'Veon Bell, and James Conner just fit right in the role. It was honestly like having Le'Veon in the backfield still. Obviously, he's not as gifted, but seamless between James and Le'Veon. You really couldn't tell the difference.
Right. That makes a lot of sense. Getting traded over to the Jets. Yeah, so then end of the season rolls around. Antonio Brown sits out the last game. There's a lot of speculation, a lot of talk on social media, and all of a sudden Brown wants out. What's up with that?
That honestly caught me off guard because the offseason prior he signed a huge contract. It was like 5 years, $70 million or something. So it's like Antonio Brown's here to stay. But then they said he was injured at first, why he was sitting out against the Bengals, and it was a must-win game. So you thought that like he'd do everything he can to make sure he had to be in there, but then he didn't play, and then it just comes out that him and Ben got into an argument, and he just didn't show up to practice, and then he showed up on Sunday for the game. They're like, you're not playing, you didn't show up for practice. And then it just turned into this big thing, and he wanted out. It just seemed like his head is getting a little too big for him. He's got a big ego.
Yeah, right. It was hell on social media trying to follow all of this. Nobody knew where he was going. He was being a fucking idiot, to be honest.
Yeah.
But yeah. Well, so going off that now, obviously James Conner stepped in for Le'Veon last year, and now AB's gone, number one target. How are Juju and Big Ben going to take this offense to where they were without AB?
I feel like as long as Ben Roethlisberger's throwing the ball, the Steelers are in good shape. He's proved time and time again with countless receivers that he can make a receiver good. Santonio Holmes, Mike Wallace, Emmanuel Sanders, Antonio Brown even. Every time Ben is throwing the ball, he's going to produce with somebody. And Juju is talented enough that it's almost like having Antonio Brown. Obviously, Juju's not as good as Antonio Brown, but he can put up the same numbers. He's the same threat. As long as Ben Roethlisberger's throwing the ball, he'll be okay. And running back, James is going to be fine behind one of the best offensive lines in football. And I feel like the offense is going to gel. They made some key acquisitions in the offseason. Dante Moncrief, drafted Deontay Johnson. They're just really ready to take the next step without Antonio Brown now. And there's obviously going to be a slight difference because AB's AB. Like, you really can't replace him fully, but Juju's going to fit that role perfectly.
Right. I really like your defense, especially draft pick Devin Bush. Absolutely love the guy. Plays like a really similar role to Shazier. What do you expect out of him this season?
I expect him to have a very good rookie season. There's a lot of talk saying that he has a good chance of being Defensive Rookie of the Year, and that would be huge if Pittsburgh can get a guy like that, make an impact at the linebacker position that they've been missing ever since Ryan Shazier got hurt. And as much as we'd all love for Shazier to be healthy and be out on the field, but it's just not going to happen. It sucks, but hopefully Devin Bush can fill that role and just be dominant. He played amazing in the preseason, and I just got high expectations for him.
Yeah. Might have to disagree with the Defensive Rookie of the Year. You know, my Bills bias has that one going to Ed Oliver. But, one thing we can't agree on, fuck the Patriots.
I can't stand the Patriots.
You guys are playing the Patriots week 1, defending Super Bowl champs. What are you expecting?
Well, it's a game in Foxborough. That's, in my opinion, that's well, it's not even an opinion. It's like a fact. That's the hardest place to play. It's very hard to beat the Patriots at home. The Steelers beat them last year at Heinz Field, and I just feel like if they can keep the same pressure on Brady that they did this past season, there's no way that they can't. It's a winnable game. It's going to be a tough one to win. Patriots in Foxborough, that's tough. But just use that great pass rush that they got going. T.J. Watt, Bud Dupree, Cam Hayward in,side, Stephon Tuitt, Javon Hargrave. It's just keep constantly pressuring Brady, and it's just shown time and time again when Brady gets pressured, he kind of crumbles. Yeah. He doesn't play well under pressure.
Yeah, right. I'm really interested to see how the Patriots are going to be this year because, they had a few losses of players. Obviously, they lost Gronk, arguably the best player on the team. I mean, Brady's lost 2 killer tight ends.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So, what's your score prediction week 1?
It's going to be a low-scoring game. Definitely not high-scoring.
All right.
I'm going to say 17-10 like it was last year, 17-13. This is if the Steelers win, it's going to be a close, hard game. My honest prediction, I'll go 17-13 Pittsburgh.
All right. I like that. I'm rooting for you guys. All right. Luigi, thanks for coming on. This has been Luigi Yates, everyone. And go Steelers.
Yeah, go Steelers. Thanks for having me.
All right, moving into our next segment, we're going to be talking about the Cleveland Browns. I have baseball player Jake Vischer with me. Jake, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Good. How are you? I'm going to ask you a few questions about the Browns. Is that good with you?
Yeah, I'm excited.
All right, so starting out, Kareem Hunt had all those assault allegations back in December, and then the Browns ended up signing him in March. What do you think about that?
I mean, how I think about it is a player's career shouldn't be over just because of one allegation and one thing that happened to him. John Dorsey knows who the type of player that Kareem Hunt is, being when Dorsey was with the Chiefs and everything like that. And I'm excited for Kareem Hunt to get a second chance with the Cleveland Browns, and I'm excited how they're going to use him with Nick Chubb.
All right, yeah, he's going to be out the first 8 games, so I guess we will see when he does get a chance to play. Obviously, biggest trade of the offseason, OBJ. He's in Cleveland now with Jarvis Landry. Got the LSU pairing back. What are your thoughts on that? What was all the hype in Cleveland?
Man, oh my gosh, the day that Odell got traded, I got the news. I think Twitter broke, honestly. Like, it's just awesome to see that the Browns are trending on Twitter and social media and things like that with the addition of one player and stuff like that. And I'm really excited. And I think it's going to be good for the Browns offense as a whole. With Jarvis Landry, I think it's going to help because I think they're going to be worrying about Odell a lot more. And I think that's going to help Jarvis get open and have a better year than he did last year for the Browns.
Okay, so we got 2 stud receivers for Baker Mayfield. Had a good rookie season. What are you expecting from Baker year 2?
I think Baker's just honestly going to go, and he's going to be better than he was last year. The guy knows how to win. He finds a way to win. He's a competitor. He's the quarterback that the Browns need, and I think we found our franchise quarterback in Baker.
All right, so obviously going back to social media, everybody's been talking about the Browns. ESPN, NBC, any sports you can talk about anywhere is talking about the Browns. You guys are the hype when, to be honest, a couple years ago, you guys were the meme of the league. So what's it like going from being like a laughing stock to like everybody talking about you in a good way?
Yeah, going from 0-16 2 years ago to Super Bowl contenders and people saying that we're going to make the playoffs, we're going to win the AFC North. Honestly, it's different, man. It makes you sit back and you're like, I'm really a Browns fan, and I've been through the bad, and now I'm going to go through this part of the year that they're supposed to, I think they'll make the playoffs. And honestly, yeah, the hype's there. The personalities on our team are there, but I think they're going to live up to the hype, and I think they're going to have a really good year this year.
All right. Along with the hype, though, that puts a big target on your back. There's going to be a lot of teams in the league looking to be like, oh, we beat the Browns. How do you think they're going to cope with that?
Honestly, I think it's going to be interesting. Like, honestly, I got to be real. We don't have a lot of winners on our team. Honestly, I don't think any of our starters been into the playoffs. So I think teams are going to go into them, and they're going to know that it's just not an easy win this time. Just like in years past, they're like, oh, we got the Browns on our schedule. This time it's like, hey, the Browns are on our schedule next week. We got to bring our A game, or the Browns are going to run us off the field.
Right. So 2 new stud receivers, a new kicker, a new running back. Week 1 versus the Titans. What are you guys expecting?
Honestly, I just want us to come out, and I want us to bury the hype, and I want us to know that, like, hey, we're the legit team. The Browns are legit this year. They came to play. They're ready for the 2019 season, and they're ready to make a playoff run. So I want them to go shut up those critics.
Okay. Obviously, Titans' biggest thing you got to worry about, dual threat quarterback Marcus Mariota. How do you think the defense is going to deal with him?
Honestly, I think Myles Garrett's going to have – you need Myles Garrett to have a really good game this week. And if he has a really good game and they can keep Marcus Mariota inside the pocket and make him throw, I think we have a really good chance with Denzel Ward and our corners and our defensive backs and our secondary to cause some havoc and have the Tennessee Titans defense a little shut down. But then you also got to worry about Derrick Henry as well. And it's going to be an interesting week for our defense.
Speaking of your defense, I was a big fan of your cornerback draftee, Greedy Williams. How do you think he's going to play in his rookie season?
I think Greedy's going to have a good year. Behind Denzel Ward. Denzel Ward's young. He can teach him the ways. Greedy had a good preseason. He looked good. He looked like Dorsey knew what he was doing when he was drafting him. And I'm excited to see Greedy Williams go out there and compete alongside with Denzel Ward and all them. Right.
All right, man. Boils down to this. Week 1, what's the score? Who's winning? By how much?
Week 1, I'm gonna give it to the Browns 28-14 in that we're 1-0 after this week.
All right. I get that. All right, Jake, thanks for coming on, talking about the Browns with me. Good luck your first week.
All right, man, I appreciate it. You too.
All right, everyone. Well, thank you for tuning in to the first week of the Gannon Barstool podcast, Talking with Tony. Thank you for tuning in, and we look forward to seeing you guys again next week. Peace out and take care.